The radars are picking up signature energy imprints from the ships, the crafts, the generational crafts that are over the planet right now, and there is many of them. Many have not been seen by those radars. And this is more proof that people need to understand that they're not alone, that there is activity there. The energy that it is transmuting through is to heaten, but it's not heaten, it's raising the vibration, so it is and heightening the vibration of that location while they are hovering over, shall we say. There is the encapsulament of some of the older other beings that have been causing mayhem for so long. And so the ships are observing and monitoring and providing extra energy inputs and uplifting some of the lower vibrational portals, shall we say, that are on the earth. And so it's like a docking station, if you want to have this as an analogy. And so the craft are hovering over at that position to be able to transmute its energy onto the earth. It's a very important location for the earth, and it's kind of tweaking the earth. And this is what all of them are doing, observations of the beings and the people and the landmass, observing to make sure that the final incarnation, as the planet is leaving, as her essence is leaving, she does birth out of this planet. And so she does, she will be starting to do some cracks on the surface. And so we're watching the landmass. We're also monitoring some people who are our light workers and energizing them and giving them the upgrades. And this is what this woman is concerned about. And many people have been messaging asking about these higher upgrades because it's very concerning for them. A lot assume it could be anxiety because of, in quotation marks, the virus and what's been happening there, but it's really not. Their bodies have been profoundly upgraded because this is the time, this is the perfect time. This is exactly when they had written their purpose and their plan, when they were writing their life contract this time. This was the time and the moment that they would start being activated. And there's no coincidence that they live in this area at this time and at this day. This is very important. And those body upgrades are powerful because they are powerful beings who are needing to be reactivated back into their true selves. And so while they have been playing this game on the 3D world, it is time for them to expand. And their mindsets are expanding as they're starting to understand this information more and process the history of the planet more. And so while we understand it can be concerning, there is nothing to be afraid of. If you're drinking more water and grounding yourself by walking on the bare earth, you are helping yourself tremendously. You're also helping yourself tremendously by not worrying and trusting and releasing all the emotions that come up. So do not worry if you worry, for example. If you find you are triggered by some past, remember the purpose, remember the reasons, and look and seek and find and resolve. You can do this more powerfully now than you ever have been able to, because the energy on the earth is more stronger than it ever has been for you. And so you're all activating yourselves and growing. And, you know, with growth, there can be growing pains, as you would say. Well, these are merely detoxing and upgrading. There's a whole lot going on in your bodies that you're completely unaware of. And so it may seem very disconcerting to you. But there is so much you can do to relieve yourselves. Focus on your mindsets. Focus on your conscious mindsets, that you do not jump into worry and fear. Remember, we have said this many times, unfortunately, your doctor's systems are not up to date with actually what your bodies are doing. They don't understand these upgrades. They're not measuring these upgrades because they have no comprehension of the energy that your bodies are upgrading to. And so I know, and we know, that people have comfort going to the doctors. But this is not something that you can heal with the doctors. And the worst thing you could do is have medication that the doctors will try to provide you for the upgrades. You can see why, and you can understand. If you trust your bodies, if you can trust your higher selves, that you're all being protected by many, you're never alone. And so if you can trust and surrender into this process and just wait a little bit longer, you will all be able to understand and see what this ascension process was, what the awakening means. And when the final shift happens, you will be able to understand it for the bigger purpose of what it all was. So please don't get distracted by the smaller details. Trust your physical bodies are being upgraded for bigger purposes. Nothing is happening to you that you don't need. This is important. So we say this with much love and much caution for the people who still want to spread fear. Everything is under control and monitored, and there is positivity here. So please, if you're wanting to spread fear about this being a negative thing, if you're wanting to misunderstand the bigger purpose here, do it on your own time. But do not take other people's worries and fear and grow it because of your own egos. Many people don't understand the process that is happening here. And so for people who want to be on their soapbox to share what they believe is their limited beliefs of truth, you're hurting others. You all need to start doing your own inner work profoundly before wanting to talk in your conscious minds about what you think is happening, because you're confusing yourself. There is much that we want to say about the people who have ego, who want to give disinformation to people because of their own egos and negativity. We will be addressing those people indirectly, because they need a bigger awakening, because they're wearing their spiritual cloaks, shall we say, but they haven't done their own spiritual inner work. And this is the reason why they're getting the limited information. And yes, while they are great stepping stones for people to get into the fourth dimension from the third and then into the fifth, it is now time to drop and be able to expand and get prepared for the fifth dimension, because it is just around the corner. So for all the light workers who are still saying that the fifth dimension is merely a mindset and it's just an expansion of your conscious minds, this is time for you to go within and ask the bigger questions, because it's not merely a state of mind that is expanding here as you shift into a physical dimension. And while we're simplifying it for most to be able to understand this, if you are a light worker who's got an audience and you're not telling the truth, you're not sharing the truth because of your lacking, because you haven't gone within and you haven't asked the bigger questions, and you're still avoiding your own shadow work, we applaud you to start opening and doing your life mission now. There is nothing to be holding back with. And we say this with love.